Hey guys, Larry here, and today I want to talk about some characters that I believe will thrive in 7.0. These are characters that I think are going to be more abundant or get better results in this update because of the changes they or other characters received. With that being said, let's get right into it. The first character that I think is going to thrive in this meta is Pikachu. He was already debatably the best character in the previous patch, and all the characters who have gotten buffed I don't think are going to be much of a threat to him. The one that might give him the most trouble is Young Link, but even then I can't see it being a losing matchup. Not only that, but the top tiers that Pikachu did well against got nerfed, meaning they're easier. Even though I think this character should thrive in the meta, unfortunately or fortunately if you don't like Pikachu, this character is always underrepresented and there are very few notable players who use this character. It would be very interesting to see if there are any more top or high level players who pick him up, since he is considered by many to be the best character in the game. He has not gotten any nerfs besides Thunder Jolt doing less shield damage, which was basically a universal nerf that all projectiles got. Ken and Ryu are characters that I think have potentially reached top tier status and would be very surprised if they weren't getting more improved results. I briefly mentioned in my previous video how devastating down smash is now that they can cancel into a special, and that opinion has not changed. In fact, I'm even more frightened by knowing what else he can do with it. There seems to be a sour spot on down smash that the Shotos can 2-frame with, and if they get it, seems possible for them to cancel out of it and get a kill with it. I don't know how consistent it will be to get because it's possible to get the strong hit, but it's amazing for them nonetheless. Making down smash being able to cancel into a special move has also given them the ability to Kara cancel out of it, which is a technique where you can cancel into a special move without needing to hit the opponent. It's an incredibly difficult technique to pull off, but if someone were to be able to do it consistently, it would be a phenomenal tool for baiting the opponent. Their legs are now invulnerable during Tatsumaki, which is going to make certain matchups that they struggled with noticeably easier. Ryu's Tatsu is also a stronger kill move, and Ken's puts him even closer to the opponent. Ryu got an additional buff to his Hadouken, giving it more shield stun, so it's an even stronger zoning tool now. I think not only will both Shotos be seeing more play, but Ryu might be getting a lot more. Believe it or not, I still think Palutena is going to be seeing a lot of success this update. Although her down throw and neutral have been nerfed, it doesn't take away from the other great moves she still has in her toolkit. She's still going to be the character that keeps certain characters in check, and with the rise of the Shotos and Samuses, she'll be needed now more than ever. Like I said in my previous video, she's a bit more difficult to be good with, but will still terrorize most of the cast. Samus and Dark Samus is going to get a huge jump in results and more people using her in my opinion. Being able to kill more reliably and now having a super strong kill throw is going to be frightening. Making their kill throw stronger makes you far less inclined to shield, so you'll move around more at high percent. But if you do that, you have to worry about getting killed by charge shot or dash attack. Not to mention their grab is a long range disjoint, so there's a good chance they still get you with it. And Sakurai called Violet the distance demon. They are already a pretty good character to use versus Peach and Daisy, but with these improvements, I would not be surprised if they became a consistent counter for the princesses. I think they would also be able to prevent the havoc that Ken and Ryu might cause with the ability to consistently keep the Shotos at a distance. Personally, I would be incredibly shocked if there are not more people using Game & Watch. He's one of the strongest counterpick characters in the game currently, with the ability to absolutely shut down most characters because of their inability to hit his shield without getting punished with his up B. His juggling is some of the best in the game, and his difficult to punish smash attacks make him very scary in high percent situations. I still think he's going to have trouble against Palutena and other sword characters, but again, he's going to be an amazing counterpick character. Here's something I don't think many people expected, but I think Rosalina is going to be seeing a lot more play in this current patch, or she should at least. With zoners becoming more dominant, she is a very strong counterpick to them, which is a super huge chunk of the roster that she can just easily take care of. Even if she's not facing a zoner, she can still hold her own against a lot of the high and top tier characters. She's also one of those characters that still has a lot yet to be discovered because of the variety of ways she can combat an opponent with the use of Luma. I wouldn't be surprised if a matchup that was seemingly difficult for her ends up becoming way easier because a single Luma desync technique is discovered. Speaking of Luma, the shield change the character got was huge since Rosa is now able to cover Luma in her shield, making it more difficult to take out the Star Companion. Palutena getting nerfed also greatly helps out Rosalina since that was one of her harder matchups, and the changes she received should make that matchup a lot more doable. The change to Fox's shield is actually going to help him a lot. There were some characters who auto shield poked him like Pikachu, Pichu, and Terry, which pretty much made the matchup much worse than it should have been. Zero Suit Samus is in an interesting spot for me, because similarly to Pikachu, there aren't as many as there should be in my opinion, at least in North America. A lot of Japanese players think very highly of her and put her as one of, if not the best character in the game. They also have an abundant amount of top level Zero Suit Samus players who are actively competing and getting good results. It's kind of crazy how often there's a different Zero Suit player in top 8 for their tournaments. Of course we have Mars with his recent Genesis 7 win, but hopefully we can get more Japanese Zero Suit players to attend major events around the world so we're able to see why Japan thinks so highly of her. I think Joker is worth noting because he was someone that a lot of people put as best in the game, and now he got 2 decent sized nerfs. The biggest one in my opinion was the nerf to down aerial guns. This move is a lot more punishable now because the hitbox doesn't come out that far diagonally anymore. This means that juggling him is going to be a lot easier for the majority of the cast, so it's going to make his disadvantage noticeably worse. He also won't be able to just bully slower opponents with his aerial bullets the way he could in the previous patch, so I could see him having a lot more even matchups because of it. The nerf of losing arson faster when getting hit just adds to Downward Gun's weakness too. He's obviously still a really strong character, but in my opinion not the best anymore, and we'll probably see a slight dip in people playing him. I feel like Joker is going to be what Sheik was after her nerf in Smash 4, a really strong character that if hit at the wrong time can just lose. I just want to put this out there, Mario is really good, and is probably never going to get touched with a buff or nerf. The way most competitive rule sets work, he never gets to play on Final Destination or Kalos, which are 2 of his worst stages, so he always has a platform stage where he can potentially ladder combo you to death. I'm not saying Mario is super broken or anything, but he's really good and I think he deserves more people playing him. I think he would be a great counterpick character since he has such a well-rounded toolkit and can be great for just about anything. So hopefully more people start using him. I guess something I should bring up since I'm going to get asked is what I think about the other characters who received buffs. I don't think any of the other characters received a big enough buff to help them except for Sheik and Young Link. But I'm not sure if they will get a huge rise in results or usage because they're one of the harder characters to play and can be less forgiving for mistakes, especially Sheik. The other characters' improvements didn't really fix a flaw that the character actually had, it just made their strengths stronger for the most part. Ken and Ryu's Tatsu is going to help them get in more versus zoners. Samus, Sheik, and Young Link are going to have more kill options, and that's something that they struggled with, killing. Zelda getting more kill power in certain moves is good, but it doesn't help her keep out characters she struggled to keep out before. Her Nair Lightning Kick setup is easier, but she had that in the previous patch, and it's a situational setup that you're not going to see super often. The only other character that I'd argue got a buff that helps deal with the weakness they had was Cloud, but his up B buff isn't that big of an improvement. He grabs the edge 4 frames sooner at the end of his up B, which is definitely better, but I still think it would be pretty easy for most characters to hit him. But hopefully I'm wrong. I would love to see more Cloud hype.
Can I get some Cloud hype, audience? Let me get with the Cloud hype.
That is it for this video. Who do you think is going to thrive in 7.0? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, consider giving it a like, and if you really liked it, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.